work on a consistent basis. Doesn't that kind of annoy you that any time of any day 360 is just going to brick?
Yeah, it annoys me a lot because they didn't really properly test the hardware of this. Like, whenever the first time it broke, I was playing Oblivion in the middle of like a quest, and I had been playing it for 5 hours straight, and then I saw the red light, and I was very, very angry.
Well, I want to ask God and Taurus Oxford something now about the Wii. What do you feel about how most of the games, I mean, aside from Metroid Prime 3 and aside from Wii Sports, how do you feel about all the games having like horrible controls as far as like the Wii remote goes? I mean, I know you said you like the controls, but all the games I played, I mean, I'd much rather have played them with like, you know, a regular control pad. It just felt gimmicky and, you know, just tacked on. So how do you feel about that?
Well, not all of them are tacked on. I mean, like No More Heroes, that's like the perfect combination of like classic controllers and, you know, nice motion controls, and, you know, for games like Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Mario Kart Wii, yeah, it has motion controls, but they're not forcing you to use them. I mean, you can use the classic controller or the GameCube controller even. So, to give you options.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is, you know, after the first year or so of experimenting, or 2 years of experimenting with different games, I think that they're going to more of a give the user a choice of what they want to do. Use the Wiimote and maybe get a little bit extra out, or use a classic controller and play with a little bit more from ease of use, I guess, for some games.
I'd like to add something. It also depends on the developer how much work it put on making a Wii game. Like, for example, I thought Zack and Miki had some great, easy, intuitive controls, and so did No More Heroes. And Medal of Honor Heroes 2 on the Wii had great shooter controls. So, and then there's developers who are trying to make a quick buck and make terrible games, and that gives the Wii a bad, people will look at the Wii as being bad because of some of the shovelware that goes on the system.
Yeah, that's always an annoyance.
Actually, I do have a question for Washed. A lot of people talk about the PC having the best control system with the mouse and keyboard. I mean, certainly that's always been true in the past for first-person shooters and real-time strategy games, certainly, but something Taurus Oxford said about Metroid Prime having the best first-person shooter controls just made me think, do you feel that maybe in the future alternative control systems that are being developed for the consoles might equal or even exceed the mouse and keyboard?
As far as the Wii controls, I played Metroid Prime 3, and I've played a few other games, shooter games on the Wii, and I don't know, for me it felt fun, you know, kind of to play, but I don't see it ever, you know, dominating the mouse and keyboard. I'd have to wait to see till they, you know, maybe have a cross-platform play of Wii versus PC, so we can see, you know, maybe the Wii controls are the better controls, but I don't know, for me it just kind of felt like I'd much rather point and click with the mouse on a solid surface than moving it all over the place, because it kind of felt too jerky. I don't know, maybe if they improve it next gen, maybe if the sensors are better, that was probably one of the biggest problems. It was a little too twitchy for me in some parts. Maybe if like the sensors were done a little better, and maybe if they found some way to make the movement controls a little better, I could see it maybe rivaling the mouse and keyboard if that's possible. I could see that.
Well, I do agree that the mouse and keyboard is a superior control system for some games, like RTS games, because I still laugh over Halo Wars being put on 360. As a friend of mine who owns a PS3 would say, RTS plus console equals fail.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was just gonna say.
You go first.
Okay, I was just gonna say, some of the RTS controls have been tweaked and actually end up being a little bit better on the consoles. I don't know if you've seen Supreme Commander. I'm a little bit ticked about that, how we really still haven't seen an update for the PC one. They made the interface a little better with the expansion pack, but the 360 version of it, the interface has been changed a lot, and it looks much more streamlined and much easier to use for me. So I don't know. Sometimes sometimes RTS games work on there. Like Supreme Commander looks like it's going to be awesome, but I still think they should stick to the PC. You could do a lot more with it, and there's much more shortcuts and everything you could use. But I mean, it's never bad on a console.
I got a question for Sand 12 now. You're doing PS3, right?
Yep.
A lot of people say for Xbox Live that, they're paying $50 a year for it, but they're getting a much superior service. What's your opinion on, comparing the 360 online to PS3 online? Is it catching up to Xbox Live, or is it still struggling?
Well, in terms of catching up, I don't think that's the right phrase to use. There's the PlayStation Network, although there have been many firmware updates and that kind of thing, is still essentially the same service that it was a year ago. It's still, sadly, it is still lacking basic features like a way of messaging people in a game, a way of reading your messages, things like that. And something I would like to see, the ability to play your own music while you're gaming. But the thing is, Sony have already said that they are working on this stuff, and obviously we can't know when it's going to arrive, but it will arrive. And when the PlayStation Network has in-game cross-media bar, when it has the trophy system, and I know this is a controversial issue for a lot of gamers, but when it has home, then I think the PlayStation Network will be able to do everything Xbox Live can do and more, and it will still be free. So I think that's a big thing that people have to remember.
I just want to hear what you guys think. Like, what do you hate about each of the other systems? I just want to say, first off, personally for me, the PS3, I just hate mainly the ports on it. I don't like, the fact that most of the ports are been pretty crappy. That and most of the games on it don't exactly excite me. I find better options on the PC, as far as most of the games. There's only been a few that have really, interested me, what was that? The fantasy game that they had a while back,
Folklore.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Wait, which one?
Folklore.
Yeah, Folklore. That was probably the only game that's actually interested me on the PS3. I mean, Uncharted was decent, but it didn't really interest me. Move on to the 360. I don't want to have to pay for Live. I mean, I've been online gaming for 10 years, and I don't want to start paying for it now just to, it offers nothing new to me. And I'm worried about Red Rings of Death and all that stuff, and all the stuff you have to buy anyways ends up being costly, and I don't have that. And to the Wii, again, there's no games that interest me. I mean, I could probably last with Wii Sports the entire time, but that'd be a waste of $250. So that's what I don't like about each system. So, Sand, what do you feel about the other two systems? 3.
Well, in terms of the 360, I suppose really, I mean, yes, you can talk about the Red Ring of Death and specific things, but it's more the attitude. Like, they're not testing the hardware properly. They're getting lots of games for whatever genre they think is going to sell more, or all this kind of stuff. I just get the feeling that Microsoft has it's not even that it doesn't support its customers, it just has no respect for them. For the Wii, I kind of feel, yes, it does have a few good hardcore games, but the vast majority of it is just shovelware. And in the future, I am actually worried that the Wii could end up damaging hardcore gaming as a result. And for the PC, I almost feel like there's more of an emphasis